What's going on, everybody? It is the non-spoiler review of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Thanks for joining me here on the channel. I appreciate it. Again, no spoilers, non-spoiler. If you're brand new to the channel and never been here before, do me a favor, hit that button. You do non-spoiler reviews, you do spoiler reviews. We got full podcasts, all that and more on the channel. So thanks for joining me here today. Okay. So the first thing, this is James Mangold directing the 5th Indiana Jones movie. First one that Steven Spielberg has not directed. Harrison Ford returns, Phoebe Waller Bridge in the film, as well as Mads Mikkelsen and others. So this was my most anticipated movie of the year because I'm a massive Indiana Jones fan. Raiders of the Lost Ark is one of my favorite movies of all time. If I did a top 10, it's probably going to hit in the top 5, to be completely honest with you. I love that film. I think it's incredible. And I love The Last Crusade. I know some people like Last Crusade better. And I'm a Temple of Doom fan, but I understand that if you see Temple of Doom today, it's a very dated movie. It's nostalgia for me, and I can admit that it's remembering being a little kid. I do not like the Crystal Skull at all. I think it's just, I tried watching it recently, and it's just a lot of things that I have wrong with that particular film. Some people disagree, but I'm not a fan of it. Now, this movie, going into it, I had heard the same stuff that you guys have heard about the Cannes Film Festival or Cannes Film Festival, and the 52% on Rotten Tomatoes. So I thought we were getting Crystal Skull all over again. We didn't, not in my opinion. You got a fun Indiana Jones movie. And I saw somebody on my out of the theater reaction, fun. That's not what I wanted to see. I wanted to see great. Well, then you're going to be disappointed. It's not a great Indiana Jones movie. It's a fun Indiana Jones movie, and it felt like an Indiana Jones movie. To me, Crystal Skull felt like everything was going on in the late 2000s and 2007, whenever that movie, 2008 when that movie came out, that the way that they were making movies in that kind of Mummy style also. I know Mummy was 1999, but you get what I'm saying. It just felt like trying to combine what was going on at the time with cinema with the old school way and kind of forgetting about the old school way more so. And it felt like an Indiana Jones movie. It felt like Harrison Ford wasn't Harrison Ford. He was Indiana Jones, and he was a withered Indiana Jones, and he had gone through some stuff in his lifetime. And it's right around the time when the moon landing is happening, and Phoebe Waller Bridge comes into his life as his goddaughter and kind of sets him into motion into this new adventure that has to happen. And it feels like the beats of what happened in an Indiana Jones film in the past. So the positives are Harrison Ford again. Feels like Indy, feels like kind of a grouchy Indy, was able to capture how that would go, how he would age and kind of deal with the grievances that he's going through in his life in general. And then Phoebe Waller Bridge, their dynamic plays really well. There are some times that I thought, this is a scene that they released, I think too, is when they're screaming at each other in this particular chase. It's like, one or two lines is okay for me, but it was like, let's not do a lot of that. And that particular scene went on a little too long, but there's a minor criticism. But the music, the John Williams score was amazing. The chase scenes are awesome. The idea of going on the quest, and there were some of those indie moments of trying to figure things out in the archaeological hunt and that the stuff that I felt was missing in the last one, and the big punches and all the things that you fell in love with Indy, that's all there. Some of the stuff, the opening sequence. So this is a mixture of, again, or I should say, I don't want to spoil anything. The stuff that we have seen in the trailer, the deep fake stuff. A lot of it I liked. A lot of it felt very noticeable and jarring. I saw a mutual friend and Alonso Duralde, great critic, who had said it was very Polar Express-y at times, and I agree with him. I think that there were times I looked at it and I said, ooh, that's jarring, and I'm trying to get into this scene. And then there's other times like, it looked really, really, really well, and then I just kind of eased into it. The sequence itself, though, if you can get past that, is about as Indiana Jones as you get. And if you can separate a lot of the jarring kind of deep fakiness of, should say de-aging. I wish it was deep fake, and I wish they would have done deep fake. I think it would have played a little better. But the scene itself and the intro into the movie, I was like, okay, I get the tone that Mangold is going for here. So then that sets us into motion of what the actual story is going to be about. I'm not crazy about the ending. I'm not crazy about the ending. I think that, there are certain people that are going to like the ending. And I was even talking to Mark Ellis about it. And he's like, oh, there's a lot of stuff that you look at the past Indiana Jones movies. They take like these kind of wild swings at what can happen and what can't happen. And I was like, yeah, but there's certain execution points that sometimes it felt a little silly. And at the end of it, I don't know. But then there's some emotional moments that happen where I'm like, okay, this is why I'm invested in it for sure. And it was a ride. It was absolutely a ride. It drags in the middle. It drags, but then it picks back up. And like, I never felt like during the Crystal Skull, a handful of times I would watch it and go, I don't really feel like I'm watching an Indiana Jones movie. I don't know what this. I never felt that way in this one. I always felt like I was watching an Indiana Jones movie. Is it the greatest Indiana Jones movie? No. Is it in the top tier? No. Is it enjoyable and fun to watch? It was. Now, some people are going to hear that and go, that's not what I was looking for. I was looking for a great Indiana Jones movie. You might be disappointed. I was looking for a fun time at the movies, and I was looking for just to feel like I was an adventure with Indy one more time. Then I think you'll be satisfied. I think that Indiana Jones fans, a majority of them will be satisfied because as an Indiana Jones fan, I was definitely satisfied. I mean, I would have loved to come out with a great movie like that was as good as Crystal Skull. And I think that there were some times that it felt, a little like there was horror elements sometimes in both Indiana Jones and Last Crusade, which are the two best horror, the two best versions of Indiana Jones, those two movies. And there are horror elements in both of those. That was missing in this. There is, was it necessary? I don't know. But there was sometimes that it felt a little bit more of the big budget production, and there's sometimes that it's like, did they need the CGI there? Could they scale it back a little bit? Like I'm interviewing, I have Amber Midthunder coming in, who is a star of Prey, and the back to basics style of scaling down movies the way that like Raiders of the Lost Ark was. It was a big budget movie at the time, but it still felt, when you look at it scaled down. Of course, it was 1981. Of course, it felt scaled down. I know, but I'm always wishing for them to blend that into today's big movies and scaling it down a little bit. They focus on story, they focus on relationship, they focus on Indy and his relationship with Phoebe Waller Bridge and how that plays into his history. They focus on all that. It's not just just an adventure piece. They focus on the story of Indy and how he has to cope with things, and I like that. I do think that the ending is going to make or break this for a lot of people, though, too. Like I said, I didn't love the ending, so I think I left going, yeah, I had a good time and I had fun. I think if I loved the ending, I might have loved this movie. So I'm very curious to hear what people say when they see this movie, because I was terrified going into it. I was terrified going into it because of the stuff I read for the Cannes Film Festival. I was terrified. I was like, oh, this is going to be Crystal Skull all over again. And in my opinion, it isn't. It felt, like I said, the CGI up top, the de-aging threw me off just a tad, but then I settled into it and I said, oh, this feels like an Indiana Jones movie. It really does. And the music and the way that plays in and like certain things. But anyway, that's it. Overall, by the way, I'm changing my scaling system. I've decided I'm going away from the 5 points. I'm going to 10. I'm staying with 10. It's easier for me overall. So you're either going to like it or you're not. But I'm going to say 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. For Indiana Jones, about 3.5 out of 5. You look at the old one, but I'm going to say 7 out of 10 for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Solid, entertaining, had fun with it, good last ride, and let's leave it at that. I watched the taste of Crystal Skull out of my mouth, and I liked watching Indy back one more time with those big thuds and all that stuff too. But very curious to where you guys stand. What do you think? Are you going to see it? Do you want to see it? Do you like it? Are you going to love it? Are you going to hate it? Very curious what you think. What are you expecting going into it? What are your expectations? Whether you're watching this review or your other reviews, this stuff from Cam, what are your expectations going into this movie? Let me know. And if you're brand new to the channel, you've never been here before, hit that button, man. Trying to get to 100,000. Love to get you to be part of the journey. So, Indiana Jones and Dial of Destiny. That's the non-spoiler. Peace.